Guitar Whisperer headquarters, and it's 12-string time, which is always interesting, especially if you've got to restring them. This is a Washburn, fairly modern one, I think, made in China. Seems quite nice. It's very loud. I'm going to go over it carefully. You can often find that the whole 12-string thing causes problems to the general structure of the guitar, shall we say. All that extra tension can be an issue, especially if the guitar has not been designed around this fact, which is sometimes the case. I had a budget-ish 12-string in a few years ago that clearly hadn't been converted over properly by the manufacturer. I won't go into details, but yeah, it was a mess, and the bridge was tipping forward and the top was cracking and things. I managed to get it back to life, but it took a long time and it didn't look particularly attractive, but it was working in the end. So I have faith in this one, and I think it's going to be correctly constructed, because that's what we want. The action's a little bit high, that can come down a bit. The strings are fairly new, so they're probably going to stay on. I don't think it needs a huge amount of work, but yeah, we'll just give it a once over, make it play slightly nicer, and yeah, happy days. Okie doke, let's see what we've got then. The first fret action's quite high. That can come down. Let's look at the truss rod. The action itself is pretty stiff. That needs to come down one way or another. The truss rod, or the neck relief, is probably about right, given the fact that there's been no fret leveling and recrowning done on this, but the action's, it's high, 140 thou, whereas I would expect this to be down more like about 80 or 90 thou, as this is going to be more of a strummy guitar, as opposed to a delicate finger picking or a jazz's guitar. But yeah, we're looking at about 140 thou, 130 thou, and that needs to come down. Luckily, there is plenty of saddle showing above the bridge, so I can take some off there. Apart from that, I think it's okay. I haven't checked the truss rod turns yet, which should be the first thing you do, because if it doesn't turn, everything else is a bit of a waste of time, but I'm sure it does. So I think first off, let's get the nut slots down to the right height. Actually, looking at the low E there, it's not even in the slot, so that slot's been cut too narrow, which is stopping the string going down into the slot. I think some of the other wound strings are the same as well. So yeah, we'll go through all the nut slots quickly and get those where they should be first. Just doing some more quick visual checks, and this can be a problem area on all sorts of acoustics, but especially 12 strings. The bridges start tipping up like that under string tension. This one is okay, it's glued on nicely, so that's a relief. There is a bit of bellying to the top, but it's within tolerances. Kind of interestingly, there's no strap button, But there is a fair size hole there that looks like there would have been an end pin jack fitted at some point. So that would hint at the fact that it might have been an electroacoustic kind of thing with a piezo pickup at some point. Or maybe a sound hole pickup. But there's nothing there now. I'll probably stuff a quick plug in that. Or maybe I'll check with the customer first, see what he wants to do. But yeah, we could do something with that as well. But yeah, pleased to see that the bridge is securely attached. Right, I just popped off the low E there to start doing the nut slots, and what has happened is that when it was restrung last, the bottom 3 pairs of strings have been strung the wrong way round. Now there's 2 ways of stringing 12 strings. It doesn't affect these ones because these ones are all the same note. Whereas this bottom 3 here are octave pairs. And what's happened is somebody has restrung it, but they put the skinny one in the fat slot and the fat one in the skinny slot, which is why they're not going down into the slots properly, and therefore they're the wrong height. So that's a fairly easy thing to rectify. There's only 6 strings to swap over, so let's do that first. On the subject of string insulation, I mean, luckily for me, a lot of string has been used around the posts here. Too much string, and the ends haven't been cut, which makes my life swapping the strings over much easier because you're not having to get in exactly the right length of string back in flush with the hole in the machine head and stuff like that. So thank you for not restringing this guitar properly. It's making my life much easier. Well, that restringing, a pain in the ass though it was, has pretty much sorted out the first fret action issues. The strings are all now in the right slots, so they're at the right height over the first fret, so happy days. Next step is to take some material off that saddle, which as you can see is got plenty of material left, shall we say, so it's a bit tall. We need to go down from 130 thou to something like 90 thou, which is a difference of 40 thou at the 12th fret, so therefore we need to take about 80 thou off there, so we'll probably go a bit less than that for the first try. Right, so we'll get that saddle out now and then dig out the jig and get it all clamped up in there.
It will be very difficult now to find and even have prison sentences as a backstop. So we do have some way forward.
String lifting tool.
Victims of social media. ISAP also asked, we feel safe, they want to be protected, but they also want to benefit from all the opportunities that this technology offers, and that's the challenge I have. People often say things like, it's like the smoking ban, it's like seat belts, but actually there's no safe way to smoke, there's no safe way to drive without a seat belt.
Truth and telling the truth to this House is important to the Prime Minister. So he repeats his bench now.
Mr. Speaker, we set out our position that the budget was just set out. We're fixing the foundations.
Saddles out. There was a bit of a shim on the bass side. Again, just looks like a thin piece of plastic. I've been finding all sorts of weird shim stuff in guitars recently. I don't know why there's a shim there, because the action's too high. But anyway, we'll put it to one side. And then we'll start on taking some of the material off here to get the action down. There's only so much that I'll be able to take off on this. It looks like there's a mad amount of saddle. Well, there is a mad amount of saddle, but there's also a doming to the top of the bridge, which means I can only go so low. with removing material here, but we'll do it bit by bit and see how it goes. Here's the saddle sanding jig again, which makes this so much easier and also so much more accurate. So we're looking at taking off, if possible, about 80 thou. I don't know if that's going to be feasible. With the shape of the top of the bridge, but let's start on about 60. I'm using the string height gauge to measure how much material is poking out of the bottom of the tube. So yeah, we'll take this much off for now and then see where we are. There we are. Fabric's come off there. Thanks to the jig, it's perfectly straight and square. Just checking there's no burrs on the edge of it, but it feels okay. Right, let's pop that back in the guitar and see how we're diddling. Oops. Right, we're down to 90. 90 thou at the 12th fret there. About 80 on the treble side. So, that's not a bad action for an acoustic like this. If you're doing very complicated fingerstyle stuff, or maybe some styles of jazz or whatever, you might want to go lower. With 12 strings, like I say, they're going to be strummy guitars, I would have thought. So I think that action will probably suit the guitar. Like I said earlier, and I say pretty much every video as well, until you properly level and reground the frets, you won't be able to get the action super low. So I think that is about it then. We've restrung it so the strings are in the right slots. I gave the truss rod a gentle tweak while nobody was looking, and we've lowered the saddle here. Now we've got the action down by about 40 thou. So I think this is where it should be at the moment. There are options in the future to do some more work and get the action lower if that's required, but I think it's alright at the moment. So yeah, I'm gonna, like I always do, hand this back to the owner, see what he thinks, and then I think I'll be happy with it. But if he doesn't want a bit more done to it, then I can do that. But happy days. Nice guitar, very loud. And resonant. Like you would expect from a 12 string. Kind of fun to play. Also a bit of a battle to play in equal measures. But no, it's fun. I like it. And it's playing much nicer now. Thank you very much. See you soon.